Poducer.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to Poducer, the podcast for producers. I'm your host, Jerry, and today we're joined by Guesst.
What's up?
What's up? Guesst with two S's.
Guesst with two S's, with a double S.
And Guesst, what do you do?
I am an artist, I think, is probably the most cohesive definition. I primarily work right now in electronic music, but something I'll probably talk a lot about is I've been getting really involved at this local studio in the area and just doing a lot of like engineering work and mix engineering and just tracking and just like a whole bunch of stuff. And that's been like really, really fueling my creative energy. And it's honestly got me feeling like I'm on some like Fred Again shit. Like Fred Again always has these like little audio clips of like this incredible, like just vast artist community that he's got a part of. And yeah, it just feels like I'm kind of like experiencing that a little bit. So yeah, I would say like I'm a member of an artist community who's primarily right now making electronic music and dance music.
And can you say the studio? Is the studio
of course, Unison.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, is it predominantly for electronic musicians?
No.
Because I was gonna say it seems not typical.
I think I'm like, I guess I don't want to say definitively, but I'm pretty sure at least of the regular crew that's going there really regularly, like I'm the only one who's making well, that's not true. That's not true, actually. Oh, I'm a liar.
Well, everyone's making electronic music at the end of the day because it's going in the DAW. No, I mean, not everyone, but you know what I'm saying. It's a platform.
Well, I misspoke because I was like running through the Rolodex and I was like, Bodhi actually is like primarily a DJ and producer right now as well. So, and then he's sliding through there pretty regularly.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, just what? Bodhi.
Sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
No, you know plenty of shit.
I just I hear the name and somehow it's tickling something in my brain, but
yeah,
maybe not. You got to show me later.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of really, really sick work lately. Did he like remixed like Zoran Mamdani like had like that
the
song?
Oh.
Yeah, well the song like when he was walking on for the speech, like Bodhi like the next day remixed that track, and
that's a big thing
awesome.
To do. Is like something drops, next day do it, capture the hype.
Yeah.
Make a track, whatever.
Totally. I actually did that. You know what's funny? Because I never realized that was like a thing that I could continue to do. I did it once in high school. We had this like basketball event called the Rubber Chicken, where like the trophy was a rubber chicken or whatever. And yeah, like I like recorded like this was crazy because like at the time like iPhone was like I was on iPhone 5, so it had been a couple of iterations, but it was my first phone. And it was like early on and like Control Center just dropped, like the iOS before this didn't have Control Center. So like I could finally like, just like, I don't know, turn on and off voice memos, I think really quickly. So I like was recording a bunch of voice memos as like a fucking high schooler in this like basketball stadium. And I like recorded all those samples and I like made a beat for the Rubber Chicken and I used a bunch of samples from it.
And did you get to show that to your school?
Well, I just like, the next day I just like SoundCloud link sending it to everyone and being like, look what I fucking made. And it did like really well because like everyone was like, what the fuck? Like you did that in one day? I'm like, what?
And this was in high school.
Yeah, I was probably like 15 or 16.
Okay, cool. Were you producing before that as well? Or was that right around the start?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a spectrum, right? Like at what point is it considered music production? Because like I started with like, I had like a 16 track digital recorder device called the Korg, I want to say DK1600, Korg D1600, I think maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, D1600 Mark II, I think. And so like technically not producing. More than anything, I was like recording myself playing guitar, drums, singing, whatever. And like learning a little bit about mixing, but honestly the like plugins, which were just called effects, like that whole system was so hard to use on that device that like
basically just raw audio.
It was mostly raw recordings. And Slash I just had no idea it was like. There was the GUI was really primitive, so it was like mostly just like a like knobs. And so
The GUI.
the GUI.
For people that don't know, graphical user interface.
Yes.
My mom listens to this.
No, that's smart. I should have said graphical user interface, but yeah, just the UI, the user interface on the screen was like only knobs. And so I'm like, picture me, I'm 10. I'm like, I have no idea what a threshold on a compressor does. You couldn't even sit me down for long enough to teach me about like what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was just turning knobs, and it never turned it out sounding. But eventually, I was like, it needs to sound better. I need to get better at this. Got GarageBand. I would consider that probably the beginning of my production journey, and that was, oh man, I must have been 13, 14.
That's young.
Yeah,
That is very young.
yeah.
I started producing when I was like a year out of high school.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So like college.
Yeah.
Or I mean, you know, I don't know if you went to school.
Freshman. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to community college, and I was thinking to myself, I want to make music. I don't know
Yeah.
anything about it. And literally just went from there. But it's
So
always
cool.
amazing to me when people are doing it from a young age. Like,
Yeah.
not even just, I was in a school band.
Yeah.
I had technology to make my own tracks.
No, and honestly, my dad was like, huge shout out to my dad, because like he was really supportive in terms of like getting me the technology that like, you know, that I needed to make stuff.
Shout out for shout out of the episode.
Yeah.
Something we always do is we talk about your first concert.
Yeah.
Do you remember what your first concert that you went to was?
Well, so I was watching a couple episodes in preparation for this recording.
Seminal recording.
The initial I was looking up the definitions for seminal the other day, and the first two are,
I don't even really get it. Let me look it up, because we need to break this down. But keep thinking, or talking.
no, yeah, pull it up. It'll come back around in a perfect way.
It says strongly influencing later developments.
Oh, interesting.
That's, yes, the adjective. Or it says relating to or denoting semen.
Yeah, that was the number one definition when I looked it up
sense.
yesterday.
That makes sense too, because
Yeah.
that is the inception of a person.
Yeah,
Seminal.
exactly. It's like the beginning, the seed. And
The spermatozoa are washed to separate them from the seminal plasma. That's another way you could use it, just in case.
podcast for producers talking about seminal plasma. No, yeah, but the that's actually so interesting that you brought that word up, and I was literally just looking it up yesterday for another synchronicity. First concert. I was watching episodes in preparation for this, and I was like really interested by how differently a lot of people answered it. And I think that for me, it's a little bit hard for me to pinpoint the exact first show, because I went to a lot of locals that I just do not remember. There was a lot of just like smatterings of like random acoustic sets. There's this random image in my head of this like Italian restaurant that used to have like folky, bluegrassy stuff happening. An early band that my family liked a lot was Carbon Leaf. But
And where was this? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
Yeah. But the first show that I like remember going to, that was like, like I cared about the artists. I talked to my dad. We got tickets, whatever. Was he took me and my best friend at the time, who were in a band together, to see, the headliner was Nickelback. Yeah, isn't that sick?
Gas.
But the reason we went is, and I actually didn't give a shit about Nickelback at the time, and I literally didn't even know Shinedown. The lineup was in order from direct support to bottom was Nickelback, Shinedown, Breaking Benjamin, Sick Puppies.
Damn, dude, that's good.
Crazy lineup. I didn't give a shit about Nickelback or Shinedown. Literally didn't, like, I knew Nickelback, but I didn't know Shinedown. But I was in love with, obsessed with Breaking Benjamin. And the fourth act, Sick Puppies, I didn't know anything about, but my dad put me onto them before the show, was like trying to get me hyped up about the other artists on the show, so that I wasn't just like, at this point I'm like 10, so I'm like,
That's a cool dad.
It's a cool dad, yeah. And yeah, I loved Sick Puppies. They were honestly one of the best performers at the show. Like Breaking Benjamin was cool. They were definitely like, they were incredible, but like in terms of expectation and delivery, Sick Puppies was on another level at that time. And then Shinedown, I completely don't remember because I didn't care. I honestly probably went and got like cotton candy at that point. It was at an arena. And then Nickelback blew me away. It was like, at that point, I remember everyone was making fun of Nickelback and Linkin Park, which Linkin Park was one of my favorite artists. So it was just kind of like I was used to people clowning on these artists. But after that moment, I felt that was like one of my first ever moments of being like, nah, the culture is wrong on this. Like Nickelback was incredible. And it's like, it's not like the culture was actually wrong, because of course there's a 20,000 person fucking stadium that they're like filling up. So of course people actually did like Nickelback, but my peers clowning on Nickelback were wrong. You know what I mean? So that was cool.
Yeah, there is a lot of whatever, like Creed.
Yeah.
I love some Creed. Nickelback, one of my ex-girlfriend, I remember her dad was like a Iron Man runner, and we went to her house and then we drove his car for some reason, and some hard Nickelback, some like deep cuts came on. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
This is gas. I've never heard this one.
Seriously.
It's got that like chugging. It's hard.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like as close to gent metal as country rock can get.
Yeah.
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 I think I might get shot for that fucking description, but I don't know.
That sounds like a good... You were 10?
Yeah.
That's pretty young.
Yeah, I was pretty young. I think I was 10.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. It's just... It's cool that you got to experience that. I don't think we've had Nickelback.
Yeah. Who are some of the craziest ones you've heard?
I don't know. I mean, Nickelback is really getting me excited right now.
I was a rock kid. Like I did rock long before EDM ever came into the picture, or electronic music even is more accurate to say.
You said you were in a band.
Yeah, a couple.
I want to hear some of the names.
Yeah, I would love to give them to you in order. The first one was Tropical Penguins. It was a play on words from Arctic Monkeys, who my sister liked at the time. So we were just like, well, what's the opposite of Arctic Monkeys? It's Tropical Penguins. Tropical Penguins
kind of, then this isn't a diss, but like when you sign up for an Xbox Live gamer tag, they just give you one.
No, that's not a diss. That's
it feels kind of like that. But
Slippery
anyway.
Penguin 17. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That is so funny. No, so it was Tropical Penguins. And then we moved on to Blame the Average. That was like middle school.
Ooh.
And then that band kind of quickly devolved, because it was, Blame the Average was in a lot of ways just like what Tropical Penguins grew into. And then so many members changed so quickly. And honestly, it ended up kind of falling apart. And then I started a new band called Black Gingham, which was my dad's choice for name. Honestly, cool concept. Like he had a really cool concept all mapped out for the branding, where it was just like a bunch of like black and gray squares, and then there'd be like one yellow square. It's like the light at the end of the darkness or whatever. The problem was, it's so hard to hear what you're saying when you say Black Gingham. It's just kind of hard. Like, what's your band name? Black Gingham. And also, what's gingham? No one knows what gingham is. They know what plaid
what is it though? Yeah, okay. It's like a pattern?
It's a pattern. Yeah, it's a fabric pattern. I think. Now I'm like, where's
let's
your
look it up,
definitions? Yeah.
How do you spell it? No,
yeah, exactly. It's
I really like that idea, the concept, like the minimal, but then there's the yellow square. Maybe you get some gingham.
I'm almost like,
if
I type in black, so this is gingham. It's like can the camera see it? I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of.
Okay.
Oh.
But it's like I'll send you the photo if I can find it. But that's like it's like a, what's that called? Tablecloth pattern.
Yes. Like the classic, what is it called? Like when you have a picnic blanket.
Exactly. It's like oh no, this, I'm so sad that Black Gingham, the band, is not coming up.
You weren't taking up enough space on the internet at that point.
Hold on. If I type music, there it is. I see it. Wait, there it is. blackgingham.bandcamp.com. Here we go. So like, okay, I'm going to try it again.
Should we like listen to it?
Test. Can you, okay, all right. It's come back at me. So it's like, there's like a album cover. It's like the little yellow square. Here's another one. This was the quote first album, like with the little yellow square again. Cool concept. Really cool concept. Yellow and black were like some of my favorite colors, and I don't actually know if that was because of my dad kind of incepting that, or because I just loved them and then he found a way to make them work, which would be even cooler. I don't know. I honestly need to ask him now. But
there's a couple things going on here that I want to talk about. First of all, it sounds like your dad was very much involved musically for you.
Yeah, which is hilarious because he does not play an instrument.
But did he see that you had a proclivity towards it, or is he a big music fan just in general?
He was like, he's kind of sports dad. He was like an incredible runner, like ran on like the U of O had like some Olympic runners at the time that he was there. And I think he just had a little bit of that like mindset of like, you know, like if you're going to do something, let's do it to the max.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so,
would he listen to music while running?
I honestly don't know.
Also having like that ability wasn't a thing until like the 80s or whatever. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and with the tape, I guess it's less problematic than a skipping CD. But no, I actually, if I recall correctly from the conversations we've had, he like damn near didn't care about music until like I was like obsessed with it. And then was just kind of like, okay, change tack. Like, you know, Afe's not going to be a crazy like runner or like, you know, sports ball player.
You kind of got the runner body though.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's genetics. Shout out. Being tall.
Yeah.
I honestly like. I kind of want to get back into running. I have a little bit of like leg pain stuff, but it would be fun to like have like a good relationship. I honestly have kind of a bad relationship with it, but
me too. I mean, I went running the other day. I used to do long distance running in high school, and I was so out of shape. It's unbelievable. You can't expect to take how many years I took off and then just start running on concrete and being, my body can take this.
Well, I'm like a huge fan of you guys. You ever heard of you guys, the multiple Jerrys on the other side of the room? You can't see it here, but it's actually switching to two different Jerrys.
These are two twins.
Yeah.
Gerald is the
other. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, running. I'm a big fan of this like concept of zone 2 running. You heard about that?
Yeah. I know about zone 2.
So what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, for people who don't know what that is, it's basically exercising at a pace where you can like hold a conversation with someone. You're not like gassed, but you can still talk. Yeah.
I've kind of been conceptualizing it. It's not actually percentages, but I've been kind of conceptualizing it as like because there's 5 levels in the zone philosophy. So if you separate those into 20%, it's like, what's your 40% capacity? And like, I love this concept because I try to actually apply it to as many things as possible. That like, if you do 40% of your capacity all like very consistently, you are way more likely to improve at something than doing 80% of your capacity like infrequently. And just, I love this philosophy. And I feel that way about running too. And it's just kind of like, I do think you can kind of hit 40% of your capacity if you start back up from nothing, which is also one of the things that I think is so beautiful about the zone philosophy is like, if you have been out of practice for however long, like, 10 years even, and then you start in this sort of like, in this like 40% capacity mindset, and like, you just give yourself a lot of compassion basically when you're first starting. It's like, I feel like you can do anything, and it allows, it like also gets you hyped to do anything kind of is.
So is that mostly when you start something, or could you, like music production, let's just say, would this apply to someone who's rusty and needs to kind of get back into it? Or is this just anytime?
I think anytime. And the reason why I say that is because like it allows you to re-establish trust with yourself. So music production is a great example. I have had seasons where I'm at the studio till 7 a.m. and I do it 4 days in a row. You know what I mean?
And you're like really pushing it.
Yeah. And you're fucked up and it doesn't feel good and your body's like all screwed and just
everything's messed up. You can't even think. You're so immersed.
Yeah.
that you don't have a healthy amount of like separation from it.
But you're riding the high. It's basically at that point a drug. Like you're like, I'm killing it. I'm going so hard. I would call that even, like 90 to 100% capacity. You're in zone 5, or I guess, 80 to 100%. You're in that like...
This is your VO2 max.
Yeah, exactly.
I know this shit. I listen to podcasts. now this is a health podcast. Yeah. So anyway.
No, yeah, but like truly, and it feels good, but also like what happens after that, right? Like you don't want to touch a computer for like a week and a half. Like in order to recover, you end up doing a bunch of like other stuff, or like end up like being really burnt out, or like feeling like you don't really like your music and you want to just like watch like Lord of the Rings for the 3rd time over and over again. It's like there is a recovery cost to going really, really hard. And so, but I would say that like, okay, what about zone 3? What about zone 4? Like not again in those burnouts, but a little higher. I think that we all naturally feel that feeling when it's like, oh, like, no, I do want to do this. Like I want to go harder right now. So if you start and you say you're only holding yourself to 40%, but you're out there running, or you're in the studio working, and then, like whatever the time comes around and you're like, I could stop, or, I told myself I got through what I said I was going to do, but I still want to be here. Then that's great. You've just reestablished trust in yourself. And if you get to that stopping point and you're like, I don't want to be here, but you push through anyway, then you are degrading the trust in yourself. And over time, it's going to lead you to do less of those things over time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. I think that over a long period of time is like you just get to a systematic burnout of like whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
I will say I made a beat the other day for the Poducer beat battles. Shameless plug. Go join the Discord. Get in there. Samples dropping every week.
Damn, I need to do this.
But yeah, you should. I don't know. You should definitely do it.
Yeah.
I would love to hear your music with whatever sample it is chosen. But I'm rusty because this is my main thing. But I put in like maybe like an hour and a half. I was like, I am not getting anywhere. And then just without thinking, I took like a little break and then came back and just went back into it. And I could feel myself like not fully getting it, but I did piece it together and ended up with something that I liked. But the process sucked.
Yeah.
I had to force myself through it. It was almost like that first run I did in a while. Like I did it and ran what I told myself I was going to do.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I felt like shit.
Totally.
And I think I pushed it too far, where the recovery, it would have been better if I just slowly, bit by bit, built up.
Yeah, totally. And I would even say that like recovery, you can do at 40%. You know what I mean? So like, I think a lot of people are like, fuck, I fucked that up. Like, I have to do better. And then they just like belittle themselves, and you're like trying to recover at 100%. You're like wheels on, like, oh, I need to do better next time. And you're like prepping yourself like, oh, I'm going to make overnight oats so that it's easier for me to get out, whatever it is that you're going to try to
Fuel
do.
Up. Yeah.
Yeah. Something. Or you're like making this huge plan, like you make an entire schedule of how you're gonna produce.
Like your planning is at the max as well.
Exactly. Like there's like I think there is a sort of a sexiness to firing on all cylinders. People want to be high achievement individuals.
Yeah.
And like every high achievement individual, I can't speak today. Every high achievement individual that I actually know is like for starters, has less shit on their plate. They just are good at deciding what is and is not important. And they also like are much more consistent than they are like high output. You know what I mean?
And there's this effect where you do something enough and you get really good at it that like your whatever 40% is someone else's max.
Yeah.
Right? So then you can just pick up, like if we're talking about working out, you can pick up 80 pounds and that's normal to you.
Totally.
At that point.
I feel that way a lot with production right now because people are always asking me like how I get my mixes to sound like they sound. And I'm like, I kind of don't mix anymore
because I slam it into the red.
Well, it's some function of that, but it's more just that like I know exactly where I want to place things. And so I place them there when I'm starting.
Okay. Yeah. That is something that I was thinking about the other day.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, I feel like I didn't really have to mix this that much. But if you know what elements kind of take up which frequency ranges and what volumes they should be at, it's like, you don't need to mix that hardcore.
Yeah. Or rather, it's like mostly done for you.
Yeah.
Like by yourself. You're like hooking yourself up in the past.
Yeah, but I mean, there is, when I first started, I didn't understand what might need to be in this position. Like, we already got a bass. We don't need another bass. Or we already have enough high frequency content. Why are you adding a ride cymbal?
Sure.
Or, whatever, something like that.
Yeah. Whereas
you just know, all right, we got that covered.
Yeah.
At least in this part of the song, we're good.
Yeah. I mean, it's also, I think it's just it actually kind of harkens back a little bit to the metaphor I was saying earlier or that's not really a metaphor, but what I was saying earlier about people being really good at removing stuff off their plate. Like, for me, it's the 80-20 rule. It's just this really what it is. 80% of mixing, in my opinion, comes from kick and sub relationship. Like, full stop. If you're
everything else, let me guess. Everything else just needs to be in there.
Seriously. Yeah. Like I made this I posted on YouTube because I was actually talking to Care. Shout out Care.
Shout out.
I was talking to Care and Hungu and Soybean Dream, a bunch of people at Beats and Brunch at this point, probably about a year ago. And they were asking me about mixing and why I do stuff and how I do it. And I made a little YouTube video talking about like what I do and like how I arrive to those conclusions. And I did a demonstration in the middle of it where it's like, you basically, if you set the kick and the snare, or excuse me, the kick and the sub, that relationship, every other element, you can just fuck around with the mixer and just like put them in whatever. And like, sure, there'll be different blends. Like if you have the hats really loud and like the vocal kind of soft in the background, like that's kind of giving a little bit of like a Hamdi Skenka kind of vibe. Or actually, I don't even know if the hats are loud in that one, but the vocal kind of in the background versus like, if you want some like Illenium shit, like that vocal is going to need to be really forward. But all of those decisions, in my opinion, like matter so much less. Like what people are talking about when they're talking about mixing, when people are coming to me and being like, how do you get your mix to sound good? They're not talking about creative. They're not talking about like, oh, I want it to be really in the back. I really want it to be lush and whatever. They're not talking about that. They're talking about, why does someone else's track sound louder and better and cleaner than mine? And I think the answer to that is pretty much exclusively kick sub.
Yeah.
And
because it's low frequency, which takes up a lot of power and a lot of headroom in your mix. Yeah. And then the kick is the loudest transient probably.
Yeah.
So like if those are at where they're maxed out to be, everything else can just sit in there and take up like not much. I mean, because that's something that like I feel like people, I don't know, it almost would be like a better way to explain it to someone who's new. It's like you have 100% health bar.
Yeah.
And this is going to take up so much of that. And all of these other elements are like 3%.
Yeah.
Compared to that taking up like 75%.
Seriously. Well, and I mean, it's not zero sum. I want to be very clear. Mixing is not zero sum. Be creative, do whatever, try different things. But like much of the time, finding space like always used to be sold to me on like the YouTube videos, like was like finding space in your mix was all about creating these big carved out EQs so that things would hit. And it's like, nah, dude, creating space in your mix is a lot more about when that element is on, the other elements are off. It's like arrangement almost, where you're just like I want my sound to be really full. So instead of like cutting something out of it and putting another element in there to fill space, which like kind of sounds good depending on what you're doing, obviously, but like why wouldn't I just have elements take up the full frequency spectrum and then cut out for a sec and then have another element that's like taking up the full frequency spectrum? And that's what you're doing when you sidechain your kick, right? You're saying nothing is allowed to be in this sound. Nothing is allowed to be within negative infinity to zero except the kick drum. And then once the kick drum's gone, everything can come back. And it's like so short, but you're carving out that space for just that short amount of time, and it tricks your brain into thinking it's all happening at once.
It's very Skrillex of you, I would say. Like maybe not even the sidechain, but I always remember hearing that like Skrillex would straight up take out anything that was there for the kick. He wouldn't sidechain, he'd just delete stuff and
That's awesome.
like or use like a whatever it's called, fade, just to maximize the space and the loudness, I guess. But
that's tedious as fuck. Shout out Baraska Sidechainer for never.
Yeah, now we got new tools and stuff, which is nice. I've never heard of that one. Baraska?
Yeah, it's an AMXD device. You're Ableton, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's a Max for Live device, which is, I guess this is the producer. I was like, how many things do I need to explain? I said GUI, but
well, I feel like you're a pretty technical producer.
Yeah.
Like I've heard you say that, you like we were talking on the phone. You're like, yeah, I'm trying to emulate to an extent what Skrillex is doing, and like I'm not necessarily gonna make something exactly like him.
Oh yeah.
But Skrillex being like the producer's producer, like your favorite producer's favorite producer type of deal.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
I would say that I think Skrillex is either like finger on the pulse in a very special way, or what's more likely is just creating the pulse, because so many people look up to Skrillex that it's kind of like, it's just whatever this dude does, which actually has been really freeing for me, because I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have to copy him. I love copying him. I will continue to do so, but I don't have to, because like part of what makes him so sick is that he's just doing his own thing, which is like, I guess kind of a cliche thing to say, but yeah, just like, I'm not out here trying to, I don't know Skrillex. I don't even know people who really know him that well. But it's just like, I'm not assuming that he just doesn't mix his tracks, but like there is a small part of me that's like, I'm sure that to a certain extent he's just like, I'm making it, that sounds good. Like I don't know, it's the kind of energy of like putting an EQ8 on the master and then like just taking a low shelf and putting 3 decibels on it and being like, fuck yeah. Just like, it's fine. Like I'm assuming that that's he it seems like to me from an outside perspective, because I thought for years and years and years that he just like had this insane technical brain and was like locked in, like Virtual Riot level, where it's like just completely surgical, just paying attention to every possible thing and shaping it in this perfect way that you just are envisioning from the very beginning. And like it seems to me, from just like at this point seeing like a decade of Skrillex work, it seems like he's just being like, it sounds good, go Burr kind of energy. And that is like so freeing, because it's like, I want to find that. That's when I have the most fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I want to find that again.
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of chasing energy a lot of times.
Yeah.
Like, but I see what you're saying. I mean, a lot of times when you peel the curtain back, it's not as sexy as you think. I was listening to a podcast, shout out Tape Notes, and they had Sam G on, and he was showing his master chain, and it's just this, like pretty intense multi-band compression thing. Yeah. And he's like, I just have this on my master at all times. Yeah. Like I've learned to mix into this. And he was embarrassed about it slightly, but I mean, all of his tracks sound loud and like dancey and cool.
Yeah.
And I think also something you were saying before is like, you're not trying to tell people how to mix, be creative. I think what we're talking about specifically is dance music, and what people are asking you about is, how do I make my drums punchy and make people want to move and make it feel like this has some attitude?
Yeah. I mean, what people are essentially asking is like, why do I have to touch the fucking trim knob all the time for my tracks, but like other people's tracks just sound like good and like locked in, right? And it's like when they're DJing shit out or whatever. And yeah, I mean, I still struggle with that. I'm always, and maybe it's just one of those things where you're close to it. You notice all the ways that it's slightly wrong, but I'm always like, man, I'm a little too loud, or I'm like not loud enough, or like whatever. But, yeah, I just try not to, I truly think that the way that I became a mix engineer, that people know me to be, that the people like trust me to work on their stuff, is by like getting really good about being like, okay, this is done. Next one. Like, I got this as far as I can get. Don't overthink it. Just keep moving. But yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, it is really just about like how you can get that initial punch. And I guess that's the other thing, right? It's like 80-20. What's 80-20 of punch? Kick, sub. Everything else, like I swear you'll figure out that like final 5% eventually just by doing it.
Yeah, the thing I've been doing lately is just slamming stuff into the red.
Yeah.
And just seeing how much I can get away with.
Yeah.
And
more than you think.
A lot more than you think. And I think I was really naive back when I was producing before. But yeah, I exported a couple different ones. I was like, all right, this one we're going to ride it a little high and then let's listen to how it sounds. And then I ended up going with the slightly quieter one. But there is, you play your song and then you play someone else's song and it's louder and you're just like, fuck.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this a lot because like I was at this studio and this guy, like I played one of my songs. I don't think they actually meant anything by it, but it was a little bit of like an ego punch. But like I played one of my songs. They were like, oh, this is super sick. Like you should check out this other artist. Played one of their songs and was like, yeah, like, I think honestly the only difference, the only difference between like yours and this person's work is like they've just got like a lot more sub under their thing. And I was like like for an EDM producer it's like a pretty brutal thing to say, like, yeah, you don't have enough low end, you know what I mean? Like that's like what we're trying to make is like something that makes you like shake and like feel this like effusive massive feeling. And I was thinking about that after I left. And I realized, so I've studied a lot of Skrillex tracks. I do like, whenever I'm in like a slump or whatever, I just end up like, taking them apart and seeing what I can learn. And one of the things that I did a lot for Quest for Fire was like put it through TDR Prism, which is basically spectrum analyzer, like span or whatever, but I just think it's prettier. And I was looking a lot, and like oftentimes with the settings that I had set up with, because its default set to like -3 slope, and I set it to -4.5 because that's what fucking Ahi told me to do like 6 years ago, and I never stopped doing it. But with the spectrum analyzer or whatever, it's like it's really just more about like, again, like knowing, we were talking about this I think before we started, but like knowing your system is more important than having a specific system. So yeah, looking at the spectrum analyzer, analyzing Skrillex tracks, pretty much every one of those tracks on Quest for Fire, the sub is hitting like -27 decibels on whatever, I can't remember what the
range.
Yeah, I like the lowest fundamental is pretty much hitting that, and I don't remember what the range that I set was on the analyzer, but and that was like, if you put in these other tracks, these tracks that other people are showing me, and this specific artist that this one producer was telling me that I should, this is getting a little bit
no, it's fine, I was just checking something.
Oh yeah, you're all good. But yeah, if you put other people's tracks in and you analyze them, that low end is a lot more. It's like -24, -22, sometimes -20. And it is like, damn near equivalent to just like pushing up the like the gain on the mixer. Like you go from, because I've learned that to hit that -27 mark, you pretty consistently, if you just put your sub at -4, like if you limit the sub or you just like make it so that it's not going to go up and down a lot, and then you put that at -4, you're pretty much going to hit -27 frequently. I feel like I'm crazy. Like maybe producers are able to, visualize this in their mind. But like, I just realized I don't actually want to sound like this other, I think it was the producer was Long Story Short. I don't want to sound like Long Story Short. Like, it's cool. It's really loud. But the side effect of that is that you're clipping everything so much that you cannot have a clean quotes, massive quotes, because people use the word clean in a crazy way in production spaces, but you can't have a non-clipped sound when you have your sub at 0 or louder than 0, as it could be, because you are automatically, like, the one of however many elements are in your song is already taking up 100% of the frequency space. It's going from the very top to the very bottom of the oscilloscope, right? That means that everything you're adding on top of that is going to be fuzzed. And that's a cool sound. It is really cool. Like, all the industrial techno, like, people know, like, or whatever, you can just bang something out super loud. Rhythm Kids, same thing. But it's like, I don't want to sound like that. Like, what I love about Skrillex's work is that it's loud, it's punchy, it's huge, but it like has so much depth and like space. It still feels energetic and exciting without feeling like it's it's in the Loudness war very clearly, but it's honestly a crazy thing for me to say that Skrillex is
quiet.
Like, quiet.
Well, some of these people you're talking about, like, I need to like actually hear that because that's so loud.
Yeah,
that it seems.
Well, and I'm sure their LUF values are like -1.5. There was this song by Clockvice that I used to listen to a lot that was -1.5.
That seems like you're going for like a Guinness Book type of...
I've gotten positive values before.
Really?
Yeah. I did like a remake of How to Fly by ISOXO, and it honestly sounded incredibly clean. I have no idea how, but it was 2. It was a positive number.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. See, yeah, like... I just want my shit to be like pretty loud, you know? Like,
yeah. Well, which is what brings us back ultimately to what we were talking about before, which is just like stay in your own lane, you know? Like
dynamics might come back too. Like we might get sick of this loudness thing.
Well, I mean, I think about that every time I listen to a Cone sound record. Like they're so frequently mixed to like -8 or lower, or mastered to that or whatever. But they sound huge. Why? Because we put them on and we turn on the fucking volume knob, and they just are really incredibly clean and, you know, well balanced and smacky. So yeah, I don't know. I try not to think about it too much in regards to other people's stuff, and just like, or at least right now, because I know I naturally tend towards comparison as a person. I'm always like, oh, like, are they doing it better than me? Like, is there something I can learn to be better? And so I try to actively put a focus on not doing that, because I know that some amount of that comparison will always be pushing me forward and compelling me to make better choices. But I do think that ultimately the best thing for me is to just like, I said stay in your own lane. I didn't mean that. I meant create your own lane. Just like, what do you like? Now do that to the best of your ability.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Speaking of other people, who are some people that are artists that you might look up to? Like we mentioned Skrillex.
Yeah.
Or maybe just some people who are friends or people you know over the internet. Whatever it is, artists you don't know that you like their sound. Who are you listening to?
Oh, those are all very different questions. I'm going to pull up the...
Yeah, they kind of are, but this could be...
Let's see. So I don't have like a convenient way to like look at recent listens to recently, because like...
Are you conflicted with streaming platforms right now?
Nah, I know exactly I know exactly how I feel. I'm like, go buy your own shit, or go buy tracks from producers. Is like, I have a SoundCloud subscription, SoundCloud Go Plus or whatever, and I have
Go Plus, yeah,
I have that so I can listen to anything that comes up. I think of streaming, and I think everyone should think of it this way. Unfortunately, I don't think this is ever going to be the case, but I think of it as like you're paying for unlimited iTunes previews. Like, remember iTunes previews? You had 30 seconds. Like, you could like listen to what the song was before you bought it. Like, I'm paying for the ability to not have to choose based on a specific section of a song. But like, ultimately, if I want that song, the only way to truly support that artist for the like, you know, quote, purchase, even if you're like streaming, you're purchasing that song in some, you know, you're renting it, but whatever, you're doing some sort of payment for the sake of that song being created. Streaming just doesn't work. And unless we're able to create some sort of
watermark or something like...
Well, I'm a huge fan. Do you know who Ben Jordan is?
Yeah.
He has this video that's called like Ending Copyright Could Save Music and Journalism. And it's such a fantastic watch. I can't do it justice.
I don't think I've watched that one. But I do love his videos.
Yeah, I can't possibly do it justice. But the main thesis, and I highly recommend checking it out for anyone listening, is that if instead of like a million different competitive platforms who are all leasing this, they're all selling you something that they don't own, right? And that can be pulled at any moment, and they're just selling you that they have the most ones or the coolest ones or the best ones from like the major labels or whatever. Instead of doing that process, which we all know is inherently exploitative, it's a race to the bottom, yay capitalism, you just had like a library, and we kind of have this like archive.org, like you can put anything there, and it was just like, imagine if it was just choose your own royalty rate. Like if I want to put my music up somewhere, Someone can listen to it or stream it or access it for whatever price I dictate, and they can buy it or download it forever for whatever price I dictate. And it should just be a centralized thing. And newsflash, or not newsflash, but like it kind of like a, what am I trying to say? I'm like
this is what I think.
Well, I'm exposing myself as somewhat of a socialist here, but like if you had it paid for by tax, like the amount of money that the United States spends on like copyright infringement law and stuff like that is just an insane amount of money. If you instead just dedicated all that money and more and had it be paid out of taxes, like, you know, wealthy people paying more for music than poor people, like you could, oh man, I'm butchering the concept of this video, but basically just like you could support artists way better that way. But yeah, with streaming, I'm not really conflicted because I know that streaming doesn't pay artists. Like it does technically. It's a technicality though. It's not a viable way to support an artist. So it's like for me, I have a streaming service only insofar as to have the convenience of being able to listen to something on any given moment. Like now, like someone says, go listen to the song right now. I have my headphones on me. I'm on a long walk. I go and listen to it now, decide if I want it. If I want it, I buy it. And it's like, I just look through it like every couple of like weeks and be like, what did I actually listen to more than once? Okay, I'm going to go buy that. Like this Aries record, I'm just like waiting for, I'm going to probably go and see him live and probably get the CD and rip the CD and, you know, have it forever. But yeah, anyway, we kind of got well off course, but
yeah, I mean, it's okay though. Like that's what this is all about. I mean, This is something that I think about a lot, and I think that you think about, and like we're in this weird era. I heard you talking about Subvert the other day. I was looking into that. I just pulled all my music and put it on Bandcamp, but it's like Bandcamp isn't perfect, and there's a lot of things. I also know Ben Jordan was talking about creating like a peer-to-peer.
Oh yeah,
like just if you want to support me, it's just, you know, person to person.
I was talking to a friend the other day, and they happened to be at one of the like Spotify summits or whatever. And the CTO of Spotify at the time, who is now I think the CEO, I think just recently got put in, did a presentation, and they put up like images of Napster, and were like, this is the best that music access has ever been. We will never be as good as this, but we're just trying to be as good as possible as this. And it's so fascinating to me that we have like that one of the people who is involved in one of the most insane corporate schemes regarding like regarding music that is like ever occurred in the history of fucking, you know, the music business is like, yeah, the version where like no single company had to like store tons of files and there was no centralization on it and you could just share. Like that was such a better experience for everyone. We all know that peer-to-peer is a better experience for everyone. And I'm like super grateful. Like Proton VPN actually just added like port forwarding on their VPN. So now you can use things like SoulSeek and any other like torrent clients like through a VPN and have it like go up and down to you client side, or I can't remember exactly how to.
Can you make it so like you can transfer goods and services type of deal, like where it's like, okay, this download is coming directly from me through this VPN, whatever, but you pay like do we need crypto?
No.
Or like what do we?
Yeah, there's no actual contract with those kinds of things.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like at this point, if you want music, go on SoulSeek.
Yeah.
If you want music, be a fucking gangster and just steal it.
Yeah.
But like, if you want to do that in a way where there's some kind of payments.
So Freddie Wong, I think is their name on YouTube, Rocket Jump, released like, he released like his movie that he worked on and like on Pirate Bay. Like he did it, he uploaded it. And then like when you downloaded it, there was a link and it was like, I think it opens to like, I pirated, you know, the name of the movie.com or whatever. And it basically is like a YouTube video that says like, hi, you pirated my shit. If like, that's fine. I did it. I put it on there. Joke's on you. But if you want to actually support me, you can go to this website and pay whatever you want for the film and we will get 100% of that. So thanks for doing that. And it's like so funny because I think I screenshotted it, but someone on Instagram like commented something like, wait, so you're saying if we go and pirate your movie and then pay you at this separate website, you'll get more than if we stream it on Netflix? And he was like, yes. And it's like, I think so many people are doing that. And Ben Jordan did that actually a long time ago, like put his like shit up on the Pirate Bay, but then in there, just like in the zip, there's a text file. It just says like, hey, like go to this PayPal link, send whatever you want. And obviously there's a huge amount of trust involved in that system. You have to trust that the people who are stealing your shit actually care enough to pay you. But I don't know. I think it could be cool to like establish more culture around trust like that. Until then, cooperatively owned Bandcamp sounds pretty cool. So I'm really excited for the continued rollout of Subvert. We're in alpha now. I've been on the platform. It's live for people who are members right now. But no artist uploading yet.
Yeah.
So.
I've heard things about it. It sounds interesting. I do think it would be, I wonder what the numbers look like. I guess it's just all based on trust. Like there's this person that I follow that you can just email them and be like, yo, I can't afford a membership. So like, can I just get a membership? And they're like, yeah.
And what's this for? This
is for a meditation app.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
It's for Sam Harris, if you're familiar. But basically, it's just kind of cool. They offer a lot of value.
Yeah.
And if you want to buy a lifetime thing, it's like $400. Or if you want to pay for a subscription, you can do that. Or you can tell them, I can't afford it, but I want to use it.
Yeah.
And I wonder what the metrics look like on that.
Yeah. It's all scale based, right? Like with the biggest problem of all of this right now is that like the value of these things, I don't even know if this is...
Yeah, you can't be like me or you, and then someone gives you like $20 and you're like, holy shit, that's awesome. But like, I can't live off that.
You just described what actually happened to me at my show when I released my track. Like I was airdropping it to anyone that asked at the show. And I airdropped it to my friend Sardeep. And Sardeep's like, yo, I've got to pay you for this. This is like so sick. Like, can I just like Apple Cash you? And I was like, I mean, sure, you can if you want to. Like, that's really nice. You don't have to do shit. And he fucking airdrop, Apple Cash me $20. So it's like, there are people out there that do want to pay for this kind of stuff. And there's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the scale looks like, which gets you into a kind of a harder conversation about like platforms like, Instagram, TikTok, whatever.
Dude, I'm just like, okay, this is we're on a little bit of a tangent. I asked you like what artists that you listen to currently, and we'll get back to that. But one thing I just kind of want to go off is like being an entrepreneur and doing it on the internet. Like for me, I have to think about like, do I want a website? Do I want to pay for that? Do I want like an email platform that I can send that stuff out? Do I want a podcast hosting platform? Which one do I want? Do I need all this extra shit? Do I fucking need like a form builder?
Yeah.
Do I like, there's a lot of things.
Infinite options.
Yeah. And I just think it's a little crazy because the value, we're getting to a point where it's like these tools have been built and probably a lot of it can be like open sourced. But the value is just that these are intermediaries and they have server space.
Yeah.
So that's like the only thing you're really paying for. Like all these other bells and whistles and stuff, it's like half of these platforms all do the same thing. And I'm just a little bit like sick of some of these tech companies being like, well, if you're going to use our service, which is basically just an idea and you can use it and like someone coded it, blah, 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 and you use our server space. Like at what point do we just not need that? Like these intermediary,
the point is now. The problem is that we've all become very accustomed to a centralized perspective of browsing the internet. And like, I never experienced a decentralized internet. By the time that I was regularly using the internet, MySpace was already in full effect, and it was kind of decentralized a little bit in that like you had a lot more flexibility to like, change the way your page looked and stuff like that. But fundamentally we were fully into the Web 2, I guess, Web 2, where you are like uploading content to an existing centralized server, and then that is being distributed on that centralized network basically to all the other people who are on that same network. Right, to everyone else who's on Facebook or everyone else who's on Instagram or whatever. But like there was a time where tech literacy was high enough and people were making their own websites, and instead of going to, you had these amazing, beautiful little things called RSS readers, and you would subscribe to a feed, and whenever you open, it's such an interesting and cool concept, but you just you open the RSS reader on your I'm doing a phone because I'm a fucking Gen Z, but it was your computer, right? And it's like an email refresh. Like you pull down and you say, hey, on my RSS reader, scroll down in the same way you would fucking Instagram. Hey, go and look at all of this long list of links. I have 500 links saved, and they're all just a link to website name / feed.xml. And it just takes that data. It's hey, here's all the updates that occurred. Everything else you've already seen.
It's your own custom feed through RSS.
Yeah. And it exists.
You can still do that.
Yeah.
You can still do that.
You can still do it.
I don't know if you could do it, though, that well, with Instagram or something. Because it'd be you have to be logged in. So, you can't just, follow this one person. Or...
Well, that's what I'm saying is that, the collective has decided that we are, for the bells and whistles, it is worth it to not have to learn.
And the convenience. Yeah, for
exactly.
sure. Yeah.
Which is tragic.
Yeah, and it's also, we're not in a day and age where I have a 64 megabyte storage device. We can all have 100 plus terabytes for not that much and have your own server.
Yeah.
And do it, you know what I mean?
Or community servers. I'm building one right now with a friend.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where, dude, I'm just saying, this Black Friday felt the most icky it's ever felt.
Yeah, wait, tell me about it.
Just the amount of stuff that's so expensive, and you should buy this, and the amount of emails you're getting from Amazon, and how the prices on Amazon are not actually different than they were before. I'll take a screenshot of something and then it'll be oh, Cyber Monday deal. It's the same price. It just says sale.
Yeah. They made the retail bigger so that they could cross it out.
There's just a lot of stuff that maybe if you're savvy, you understand. And a lot of people are, but you just get enough stuff in front of you that you cave at a certain point. You have to be strong the whole time, or I don't even know. I was thinking about, this is just my own whole thing I've been thinking about, but I was doing some yoga, and the yoga session ended, and a lot of times you end in, I forget what the pose is called. You're just laying on the ground.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, Shavasana, I think is what it's called.
And you're just laying there. And I don't want to get up and turn off the video, but immediately an ad plays, and I'm just I was enjoying myself.
Wow, yeah.
There's things that.
Duck player.
Sure.
Remove all your ads from YouTube. But
you got to be super on top of this stuff. Totally. And I think also with the AI stuff, where there's all these servers and all these data fucking huge warehouse things that they're trying to build. It's affecting people's lives just so we can have more AI slop. I'm just what is happening? This is getting, what are we doing?
It has to get to a point where they're no longer able to extract value. And that is the really tragic thing. You were joking earlier before this podcast about there is no middle class, there's this feigned wealth. You get the scraps of the wealth, but it feels so much because it's so much better than what the poorest people are experiencing. Think about something like DoorDash, right? I also love how this is a producer podcast and we're talking about socialism. But
no, it's just what I've been thinking about too, though.
No, seriously. Well, I'm someone who is houseless or someone who is barely hanging on, maybe is on food stamps, can barely eat, can barely pay rent, is living in a part of town that's really shitty, doesn't have good public transit, it's hard to get places, whatever. And then you, or not you specifically, but royal you, a quote, middle-class person is making $100K a year, and they're sitting in their pretty nice 3-bedroom apartment. They can buy they can buy the cameras they want. They can buy, it's us, right? They can buy production gear, whatever.
Barely.
Yeah,
the price barely. That you said, I was I'm not quite there.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying though. That's what I mean. And then you're sitting there and the disparity of what resources you have access to versus what someone who's barely hanging on or who is houseless has is an incredible disparity. And it's so easy to be like, wow, like, you know, like this is like, well, I mean, I don't think many people are thinking like this, because honestly, most people are just thinking about how they can get more and more and more and more and more. But like the difference is crazy in terms of the quality of life that you can have. But the difference between $100K a year and what the bazillionaires are experiencing is just like, it is an unfathomable amount. And you can experience this by like a lot of these jobs that are like, you know, higher paying, like coding jobs or whatever, or, you know, like high paying design jobs or whatever. You get this like taste, they give you this taste of wealth by like giving you the access of what you know, billions and billions of dollars can buy, which is these incredible buildings with these incredible amenities and all of these things. But you don't actually get to experience them unless you're on fucking campus, unless you're on, you know, Apple's campus or Google's campus or Facebook's campus or whatever, Meta, fuck, whatever. And it's like that is like a crux of the problem, is like people get addicted to this like idea of wealth, and then they spend their entire lives chasing it, when in reality, like they will never, ever, 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 ever achieve it. But it feels still like a worthy goal, because you don't want to be in the gutter. You don't want to be literally left behind.
Have you ever seen the movie Elysium?
Yeah, totally.
You know how there's the people that are out in space and everyone else? I just don't want to be in the fucking desert scrounging, you know? Like, that's the thing I'm most worried about, is like, I just need to get enough to buffer myself from the inevitable squeeze.
Yeah.
But also, I'm confused, and I hear everything you're saying. I'm confused by this push for the AI stuff, because the whole thing is like, oh, it's because, you know, we're in a race with China for AI and this technology and blah, blah, blah. But like, what do they know that like I don't know, that is just like, this seems like we're wasting a lot of money?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what scares me a little bit more, where it's like, do I just let the powers that be, that probably know more about the global game of Risk?
Yeah, no.
Or just like, you know, because I think about it this way. If the farmers, and we vote against AI server farms at scale, and that puts us behind the race for the US or whatever, in the long term, is that going to be worse for us?
I highly doubt it.
That's what I'm saying. It's just
China's
like,
kind of lit right now. Like,
yo, China sounds lit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. These are the things I question, because right now, all we're doing is making society so much more confusing.
Yeah.
Because we're at the point where visually the AI stuff, I don't know why I keep talking about AI.
No,
like,
it's indiscreet. It's the exact same. You can't.
Like, why did we race to get there? Why? You know?
Yeah.
Because now we're living in a weird world.
Yeah. It's all drone. Like, I mean, basically, like, I think, you know, at the end of the, what's that called? The Cold War, like, we thought that like nuclear was like the most effective, you know, war strategy, but it's not, because it actually completely, you know, it makes the land uninhabitable. The best way for you to be able to conquer your victims is to be able to remove everybody there and then go in and take it, and like ideally not harm any of the infrastructure. Mm-hmm. Which obviously I'm not advocating for. This is completely despicable behavior, but it's what countries' main purpose is, to a certain degree, is to like have the ability to at any time take more for themselves. Yeah. And yeah, like AI helps them do that, basically. And that's why there's a race, right? And like we should be pushing back against it. We are. I mean, I am, at least. I'm like, I don't want my country or any country to be better at doing horrible things.
Yeah, I mean, the war machine thing aside, if that was the only kind of use case that we were using like this technology for, but right now we're just getting inundated with like actually stupid. Yeah. Just, this is what we're paying for. Because that's what I'm saying. People are like, this is what we're paying for. We're paying for this AI slop. It's like, no. We're paying for what you're talking about.
Well, because even being able to make a better image generation model, like, you're still proving like training success. You're still hyping up the value of that company in some, like, basically you're doing like civilian hype up for this company so that it gets inflated value, so that more governmental contracts can come for it, and they can do other stuff with the same technology. And you're also that company is still learning how to be better at making their product, their AI better. And so like fundamentally, even if it doesn't matter if it's like, you know, writing books or making images or, you know, teaching robot dogs how to hold AR-15s, it's like it's all fundamentally just improving its general abilities, and that's what inflates that value. But I do agree, it's an incredible bubble. Like there's a bunch of videos out there that are just showing the cyclical, insane nature, and I honestly am really worried for everyone's 401ks because they're all wrapped up in this garbage.
That's why money. So I don't know. We haven't talked that much, but like money to me, it's not my driving force at all.
No, not at all.
And I do worry because people have this notion a lot of times that things are guaranteed to them for some reason, like through 401k and through these governmental things, whatever. And I'm just like, dog, not really. Yeah. Nothing. It doesn't matter what it says in a contract. Yeah. If shit goes south, it's not happening. Partner. Oh. Yeah, sorry. I feel like this is kind of not the conversation I set out to have, but it's the conversation that happens, and that's what this show kind of is.
I think it underpins every industry right now. And so like I think it's naive. I was even just thinking about this because I was just like, I got a notification on TikTok. It was like this song is out now or whatever from this person. I commented on a TikTok and I was like, this is fire. And I just got a comment response like a week and a half later, like, it's out now, go check it out. Go to the SoundCloud, it says free download. And I'm just thinking like, this is insane. I mean, it should be a free download. Everything should be free download. But it's just like, we're all on this like incredible, we're all doing this thing where we're just loss leading over and over and over again for years and years and years with the hope that one day we might get picked up by a festival that will pay us $400,000 per set. Mm-hmm. And it's this incredible disparity that like is being created in every single industry. And so I think like when we talk about AI, when we talk about like economy and all those kinds of things, it's like, it's naive not to. Like it's part of this. It's part of this business. It's part of this art form.
And I don't even really listen to the news much anymore. I'll like tap in. Honestly, whenever there's like AI stuff, I'll listen to that, like new whatever, because that seems like the most important indicator for like what the fuck's gonna happen. But yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll just see. It's one of those things where I can't tell if it's blown out of proportion in my mind. It doesn't feel like it is. It does feel like they've said so clearly that, oh yeah, we'll just, we'll figure out like a new, money's not going to mean that much. I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, I would love for that to be a thing. Like, we don't have to work and all this stuff.
Post-scarcity society.
But like, what are you talking about? No one's building that infrastructure. You're just building something that's going to take our jobs. So it's like, what are you, dude, it's crazy. Like, I have to tell you this off podcast because it's way too hot of a take, but remind me or I'll put it in my phone or something.
Okay. You don't even want it recorded on your hard drive?
No. Well, I mean, I just don't want to have to edit it, honestly.
Yeah.
But we can, kind of get off this subject and go back to some of the more
favorite
fun music-centric questions. I mean, I don't know. Also, here's another thing, just so we can tie this back. Do you feel like as an artist, you have some kind of, that you necessarily have to have a voice for standing up for some of these issues, whatever issues you feel fit? Like, do you feel like that's part of you?
I think everything is political. I think it's like really funny when people are like, go back to art. It's like, do you know art? Like, I know that a lot of dubstep is just like finding a sample of someone saying like, please take off your shirt, right? But it's like fundamentally, like, I don't know, that sample could have been from some video where, this person was, I don't know, it all comes back to eventually, I don't need to like make the threat, but like fundamentally we're all living our lives and trying the best to live our lives as much as we can. And like, there are people who are trying to extract value from us for that entire time. And that is the struggle. And I think that is a permanent struggle that's existed since feudalism. It's existed before feudalism. Mm-hmm. But it's like, we're in this modern version of it, which is like the capitalist version, where there's this like weird respectability like framework around it, where wealthy people are
it's
like
just business.
Yeah, they're demanding like respect just because they are wealthy. I mean, that's always been the case, I guess, but there's like this sort of falsehood of them doing so like out of merit because of the market what's the merchant class. Like a lot of people are able to like pretend that they, and some people do, but it's incredibly rare, it's vanishingly rare, that they are like uniquely valuable because of their labor, and that they should be praised for that.
Okay, so yeah, but here's another thing that kind of disturbs me. Not disturbs, but it's just, I was following this one company. They make lamps, okay? And they were doing, in my mind, a very good job of marketing. Very on the ball when it comes to, hey, we got this new thing. We've had a little, hiccup in the production. It's going to take a little bit longer. We're being really transparent with you. This is how we make it. These are like the settings to make it, so you understand every little piece of the process. And I'm like, great, that's awesome. But that transparency thing, I think, is kind of messing up the consumer relationship with it. Because, like, first of all, you're giving out all of your proprietary secrets, or maybe not all of them, but like a lot of them. So some copycat can come along and do that immediately.
Yeah.
Whether it's a bigger company or a smaller one, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot long term. I'm not saying you have to be gatekeepy with like your whatever. But then another thing, I was talking to my brother about this. He's like, now people feel entitled that, they should have told us this, that this is the example he was giving, like a new product's coming out. Someone was upset because they bought the old product and they should have told us that they were making the new one, basically. And it's like, I don't know. It confuses me, being someone who's selling stuff or whatever, like, not me, but I'm saying if I was in that position of doing stuff, the new thing is to be super hyper transparent and give away all of every technique you've ever figured out. And what is that doing in the bigger scale of these people that are like training everything is you're just giving them more and more value straight up.
Yeah.
So although in the modern age, that would be like great marketing, good job, you're like on top of it.
In the future,
people don't realize like that relationship that you're having with the consumer is now different and whatever, but you're also giving it to everyone. I don't know. I feel that you should. I'm an open book with a lot of stuff, but more and more in this day and age, I think you kind of got to keep some things closer.
We're back to gatekeeping. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we might be back to gatekeeping. Fuck, I don't know. I mean, at least like from the people that are just scraping the internet.
I've been thinking about this actually, because I'm very anti-gatekeeping. Like,
from a
like
if a homie asks you, how did you mix that song? You're like, dude, I'll fucking tell you.
But there was this post. I think I screenshotted it. I'm gonna actually read it because for one, it'll get us back on the subject of music, and two, I think it's
Thank you. Fuck. I'm over here on a fucking rant.
I love it.
Tirade.
I'm in the same thing. Okay. If the main channels of music distribution infrastructure on the internet are going to continue to inshitify themselves to death, the only logical response is to enact a digital dubplate mentality in your community, both in real life and online. Obviously, anything posted to the internet can be duplicated and scraped compared to the addition of one origins of the physical dubplate. But it's the act of making something at a small scale for your friends and community first and foremost that encapsulates the dubplate mentality more than the physical medium itself. DJs of old and new understand this mentality better than anyone for obvious reasons. Dubplates were invented as a means of spinning something at your party that the rival sound system wouldn't have. It was a weapon towards victory in a sound clash. Now our collective rival sound system is streaming culture and data scraping at large, and it's proven itself to not compete in good faith, which is kind of the things you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how many marketing campaigns and playlist curators the streaming platforms throw at us, we know and they know that music culture and cultural capital as a whole trickles upwards to them from the underground. and we can decide how far up that pipeline we choose to let musical subculture trickle.
Yeah,
that's like it goes on, but I think that's more or less everything. I want to give a little shout out right now. It's at, I'm assuming, Parrot Sky, PERETSKY on Instagram. Thanks for posting that. It's been rattling around my mind because it's like, it does relate back to what you're saying about gatekeeping. Like, I am always going to be the person who's like, don't hide your tracks, don't like cover whatever. Like, if I'm doing a stream, I actually would prefer, I wish there was an easier way to do this. I found some way to do it, but it's not really great. But I want you to see the title of the track that's on my CDJ. Like, I want everyone to know what I'm playing and how I'm doing it. Like, I think that is really cool. What I don't want is for those things to be, you know, taken by people and used in bad faith, in ways that are like harmful to the original creator itself. Which actually, this brings us back to SoulSeek. This brings us back to torrenting. Like, you're giving away something for free, the exact opposite of gatekeeping, but you're saying, please value it. You know, you got a little text file in there that says like, pay me at this PayPal account, whatever. Like, you know, you recognize that this has value. Like, I will give it freely, no barriers, but I trust that you will take care of me in kind.
Mm-hmm.
And I am terrified because, for those of you that do not know, I removed all my music off Spotify. I removed all my music off of every streaming platform. Actually, I posted like a big long video.
Me too.
I was like,
but you're more in it than me. Even I'm like a legacy act.
I don't know what you mean by that.
I'm just saying I took all my music off, but I wasn't pushing my music. I'm pushing the podcast.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I was doing well. I had like 50,000 monthly listeners at a point. When I took it down, it was less. It was like 29, something like that. But like 29,000 people a month were hearing some version of my music, and watching that number go down was fucking painful. And like, I just decided that I can't do it. I can't build a music career off of something exploitative. I just refuse to. And like, you know, there will probably be someone in the comments being like, well, you have it on YouTube. YouTube's also exploitative, like whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing the best I can. I'm going to try and, as much as possible, find the best way, the most ethical way to do this. And I'm not sure that there really is a perfectly ethical way to do anything. I'm a big believer in the concept of no ethical consumption under capitalism, but I also believe that shouldn't be a you shouldn't use that as an excuse to just be like, well, it's the billionaire's fault and I can do whatever I want. It's like, no ethical consumption under capitalism means no matter what chocolate bar I buy, it's harming someone. Or no, a better example is coffee. No matter what coffee cup I buy, it's harming someone. But it also means don't buy from Starbucks because they're fucking horrible. Like, you can get better coffee that is doing a better job of being more transparent and more ethical and whatever. It's like, it's not a get out of jail free card. It's a reminder to yourself that like there's always going to be some way that you can do better, and you just do the best you can today and then try to do better tomorrow. So anyway, that's with music. I'm like, Subvert is like, it's coming in hot, and like, I don't know if I'll remove from Bandcamp, but I'm really hoping that a lot of people shift away from Bandcamp and towards Subvert as soon as it becomes like a hugely, I mean, right now it's, you know, it's an alpha, so it's like, it's new, but as soon as it becomes an extremely viable like product, like I hope that Bandcamp's entire user base just goes, cool, thanks, bye, like, do better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think when they see those numbers dip, they're like, all right, fine. But then it's always in like this way, like SoundCloud's like, oh, we're giving people 100% of their royalties. But it's like, but you're doing other stuff. Yeah. It's not like zero sum.
Well, they did walk back their AI claim. I also thought that was a little like distant, like people on the internet were not giving them enough credit for that, because I'm not like here to be a SoundCloud apologist, but like Spotify trains on all your shit 100%. So then people are being like, SoundCloud decided they were going to train my music. And it's like, SoundCloud explicitly, immediately, as soon as they got that feedback, they immediately switched back like 2 days later, and they were like, hey, like, we're going to rework these terms so that they say what we actually are using for it right now, which is just like making your recommendation algorithm better. And we're going to make it really hard for us to use it for other stuff. Whereas like Spotify is just like, yeah, we use it for your recommendation, but also so that we can make as much music as possible that just sounds exactly like you, and we're going to just fucking replace Like,
yeah, because he's supporting like drone technology or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, I mean, shit. I don't know. It would be cool if we just had some other service. There's been some that have like popped up. Maybe Subvert will be good. We'll see.
I mean, but even that, right? Like that's like a centralized project, and like I do fundamentally think that we don't need centralized projects. Like,
or just like, you know, some like stuff like this where we can send data that easily. It doesn't need to be centralized.
Yeah.
For like like music files.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. There's no good option too. Like if I wanted to put this behind a paywall, what do I got? Like, you know, Patreon or like Substack or like some other ones, right?
I just think the paywall in general is like it's like a,
who can afford it? I don't use any, maybe I'm just not in the culture, but like I don't want to pay. First of all, fundamentally, I feel like knowledge should be like free.
Yeah.
So like I want to put this out for free. But if that can at least just filter out some of the BS, it might be good. I mean, I was thinking like it's gonna be $1 or like a pay what you want service. But just it's already hard enough to get someone's attention to just do that. Oh, it's not on my normal platform. I'm never gonna use it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have the Patreon app. Never gonna watch it.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Which is like that's what I mean is like the fundamental shift that needs to occur is that people need to realize that they have been brainwashed into just like the convenience trap, right? Like I will watch what's on Netflix because I own that one. Insane behavior. Like in extremely legal ways watch movies because I want to watch that movie. You know, not because I am like, oh, like I just have like something that suggests something automatically. Like I don't watch a movie unless I want to see something. And I had to train myself back into that because when I had all the streaming services, when it was all just like plugged in and I was ready to go, I would just sit down, open one, and it would tell me what I was watching. Insane behavior. Insane behavior. Now I'm like, I want to watch, I'm going to say it again, The Lord of the Rings, because I watch that movie all the time. I want to watch The Lord of the Rings. And I go and watch The Lord of the Rings. I bought that movie too, so it's like that because I care about that movie and I'm like, you know, whatever. But I think I have the DVDs from like my parents like a million years ago.
That so extended cut, dude. The director's cut.
Do you watch 3 theatrical versions? Don't exist.
Oh my god!
I'm only watching Lord of the Rings if it's 12 hours long.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have some like, you know, other music related questions that we can get into.
Please. This is great.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I have some like fun questions. These are like grab bag questions. Yeah, this is kind of a fun one. This is, what non-music related hobbies do you have that like they feed your artistry?
I just started well, I guess I would say clothes. I love fashion. It's been kind of recent. I mean, I've always loved it, but I felt really like I wasn't allowed to participate in it because it was so expensive. And then I started learning about the garment industry and realized that like it's not expensive. It's just that I thought that clothes were cheap. It's kind of the same thing, right? That we're talking about. And yeah, like dedicating significant portions of income to a piece of clothing that I like really loved. Like, I think it just shifted my mindset around clothes and art in general. Actually, I think it made me understand why people would pay $20,000 for a painting and hang it in their, you know, their room. I was like, that to me, like I was like, that's insane. You can literally go to a print store and print the same photo and just hang it, and like you can do, I don't know, there's a million ways to do something cheaper, and I never understood it. But now I was like, oh cool, you're like you're paying for the care, for the this sort of intangible, magical like energy that comes from something being an artistic artifact being imbued with care, basically. So with clothes, for example, I really love Acronym. Errolson Hugh is an incredible designer. I can like feel that he has for like multiple decades loved anime, like technical things, sci-fi, whatever, and that has found ways to imbue that ideology, that care, that interest, that excitement into these pieces. And then I can take those same pieces, or, you know, from him and or other designers and other brands, whatever, and then I can arrange them among other pieces into this sort of character that I design that then could be theoretically used to inspire another character or something else that goes into these movies, and then it just feeds itself back again, right? You have someone who's making a piece of clothing inspired by a costume that then gets worn, which inspires a costume, which inspires a designer, right? And that sort of thing just like got me really excited. And I'm so grateful that I broke through just from at first it was like I'm only watching, or I'm only buying. I was only like a consumer of this culture. But now I become really excited about learning how to sew again, and just like upcycling. It's just so fascinating to me. Just like there's so much like clothes garbage specifically, and you could take this garbage and you can turn it into something that is like that people like. As soon as I started saying like, oh yeah, like I've started making clothes, like the first thing people would say to me is like, oh, I want to buy something from you. And it's like really funny because I don't know, it's just like that's just like an interesting way to respond to someone being like, oh, I'm excited about this new art form, is like, I want to buy something from you. But I'm also like, I don't think that you like, I'm not gonna like make a catalog. Like some people are into that and they're gonna buy new fabrics and fabric technologies and stuff like that, but like for me, I think this is all going to be just like I'm going to the Goodwill bins and then stripping apart all these clothes. Or I'm taking, you know, whenever friends are giving away clothes, I'm taking a bunch of t-shirts and then I'm like cutting them apart and getting all this cotton and like stringing them together and sewing them together into new garments. Like that is what I'm planning on doing with clothes. And it has been totally feeding music because it just like, it reminds me, the concept of scrap reminds me so much of like
sampling.
Yeah, sampling, freeze flatten. Like, I don't know if anyone knows
BIP,
like the bounce in place.
Classic.
Love BIP. I've started when I produce, like, and I'm like, oh, I need a bass. I'll just type BIP space audio in my like browser, and like anything that I have like bipped that's in that, you know, because I had the folder for all of my project files on the sidebar, so it just searches through that entire folder, and I'll just be like BIP audio, and I'll just like go down and be like, yeah, that's a mic, that's a guitar, oh, here's a bass, that sounds cool, like let's drag that in, and then just cut it up and do whatever. Or maybe I do drag in a vocal and I like distort it a bunch and I make it into a bass or like whatever. It's like, yeah, like audio scrap. Yeah. So yeah, clothes, I think.
BIP, bounce in place.
Yeah.
You can also do it without BIP, but it's like someone just made the tool and it's really nice and convenient.
Yeah.
Surprised they haven't like just put that into Ableton yet.
Yeah.
Or maybe they have, I don't know.
Well, they just renamed freeze flatten into bounce in place, which I actually kind of don't love, but you still have to right click and then like select bounce in place.
It's not just like a key that you set or whatever. Maybe you can still do it in Ableton. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, no, that's interesting. I've been getting into clothes because I've been designing some stuff, mostly through like print on demand stuff, just so I can have merch, but I'm really trying to go for things that are not gonna fall apart.
Yeah.
So like even the blanks, getting like a little bit better blanks. But also I've been watching this one dude who he just like finds, like he just explains, you know, the history of like certain clothes and how they're made, and buying basically a pair of jeans, for example, that are like really nice and quality denim, and you're gonna have them for a really long time. And thinking about buying clothes in that way for myself is where I'm at, because it's like I just want to have like some classics that are just not gonna fall apart.
Totally.
Because that's the thing when you start learning about fashion and how fast it is. It's like if it falls apart in like 3 wash cycles, that's crazy, you know?
Totally.
Or like if you rub it together and it's like noticeably pilling already, it's like, what is happening?
I think you can apply this directly to like music purchasing as well, which is kind of why I think I've gone back there. Because like so the analogy of buying a really nice pair of jeans, like when I buy a song that I love, like I've listened to it a couple of times on some freeway through YouTube or in this case my SoundCloud Go subscription or whatever, and I'm like, no, I really like this song. I want to get it. And I go and get it, especially if it's a DJ song. It's a little less common with things that I'm just listening to. But with DJing songs, like now that audio file is with me at every set. It's with me, like it's in my pocket 100% of the time because I carry around my USB. And there'll be just random moments where like I was on TikTok and Megra, I think is how they pronounce Megara maybe, is like was on TikTok being like, yo, Skrillex played one of my tracks, that's so crazy. And this person came up. I've never seen Megra's like Instagram or anything. I've only known this person through Bandcamp. I found it on someone else's collection and I downloaded it because it was so good. I've played this track probably like 40 times, and they're all moments that mean a lot to me because it happens to be in the same key and close BPM to a song that I just recently released. So I mix into it a lot. Like that song means a lot to me. And it's like, it's kind of like buying that pair of jeans. Like what I'm getting out of that file is like kind of growing more and more. It's almost giving me more and more value the longer I own it. You know, and jeans is kind of the same thing. You buy like a really high quality garment and it kind of like, it starts to like mold to you, and the fabric's really good, and like even the way that it wears and like starts to fall apart is like kind of aesthetic and kind of cool. And you know, people don't really want like it's like Carhartts are actually pretty affordable. Well, I don't want to say affordable. That definition is all over the place, but they're like, you can get a pair of new Carhartts for like $30 to $60, but sometimes at these vintage stores it's like 130 because they're worn in just the right way, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway,
and it just takes a long time to wear them down.
Yeah.
Because they're, yeah. But okay, that was a good answer. The clothes.
Yeah.
Also, clothes is something that you know, it's a reflection of yourself.
Yeah.
And it like is what you're putting out there. Like when you're walking around, it's part of your identity.
Yeah.
In a very personal way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree.
I think it's important to like, I feel like music and fashion have kind of always had like a very healthy overlap.
Totally.
Yeah. But I like the idea of being able to like, okay, I'm going to do this. Like my girlfriend's in fashion and like what you just said, I'm sure she'd be like, yeah, I love that. She's all about like upcycling stuff. All right, let's do some other fun questions. That one, I feel like I already know what you're going to say.
No, now I got to know what it is.
It was about time traveling to an era of music, but I was thinking you'd just be like, I just want to be in the era that we're in because it's like the most like tech and like new stuff.
No, that's a really interesting
I don't want to
question.
answer for you. Okay, now we got to do it. So if you could time travel to an era of music, what would it be? I
mean, I actually, in a weird way, you might have just incepted me, but I think you're right. I think that you can only ever be where you are. And I think that there's something so unique and special about that. But
I'd visit.
Yeah.
For like a sec, you know?
Yeah. Well, and even visiting, it's like, even if you were like going to go and spend like a couple of months or whatever, it's still kind of tough because there's just a lot of really amazing access right now. And I love where it is. But I do think I would say that there is something really special about a time period where computer recording was becoming accessible, but it was still more affordable, or not more affordable. It still made sense for there to be these big, huge studios. And so records were more commonly made with just so many more people involved. I have started making my records that way now. Like there's a song that I'm working on that has I think like 6 collaborators on. And it's not a 6-way collab. It's my song that 6 people have touched in some small way. But there's something really special about, like I was imagining Linkin Park. Like there's so many minds coming together to make one song. It's incredible. It's not quite the same anymore. So I guess I would say I would visit the early 2000s in like the super band era.
Yeah, no, that would be kind of cool. It's also just a hard concept to think about because it's like you have the knowledge that you have now and then going back. Like for music production for your own abilities, it'd be like, why would I go back?
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying.
Getting to nerd out about the first versions of Ableton with Image and Heap would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
That would be interesting to just like be like, all right, this is what you guys got. Shit.
Yeah.
The one that I wanted to ask you though is if you could collaborate with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Yeah, there's a lot of answers that are kind of floating around. I think like it's hard to get out of like promotion brain. I think
Like what would do well?
yeah. There's like a part of me that's like, well, duh, I would want to do a Skrillex record because it would fucking go crazy. I've
And
always
that would put you in the like Skrillex little gang
exactly, yeah.
with the people that he's selected.
Totally. So there's something about that. But I think I didn't think I would answer this way, but I think even just the fact that I like referenced Imogen Heap a second ago, like the way that she thought about music for so long, or at least the way that I perceive that she's thinking about music through time. It's like it's a really fascinating way of thinking about electronic music. I also like, yeah, I'm not giving you one answer. I'm giving you like 6. I would say Skrillex, incredible. It would just be. I would, in a lot of ways, I don't need to actually collab. I just want to fly on the wall. I just want to see how he moves. I think that would be really fantastic and incredible. Aries, another artist who I've emulated in my pop journey, which I'm not really in anymore, but like when I was trying to do pop, or not even trying to, when I was doing pop, I was really looking up to Aries, and right now his current rollout is blowing my mind. I mean, incredible. I think it's incredible. Imogen Heap just seems kind of like mature about like electronic music maturity feels like Imogen Heap, like thinking about it in this like really holistic perspective. And then the opposite, like electronic music infancy, not to describe the quality of the music, but just like having like a infant's perspective, or like, just like someone who's like a noob, but in such a beautiful way, just like a true amateur, like looking around and just being so excited, is Fred again. I think Fred again looks at music in a way that's very like the first year you've ever produced music with your homies. And that, or at least it seems like it. And that would be just incredibly fun to just like, yeah. He just looks like he's always having such a good time. And that feels infectious.
Yeah, I've still never seen Fred again live. Because there is just this like Fred again effect that people just mob.
Yeah. I've been once. The crowd was not my favorite, but I don't want to be one of those people who's always complaining about crowds.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I get it. I do. But yeah, I think Fred again does have that childlike nature where he's just excited about what he's doing. Yeah. He's tapped in. He's got his like he played like one of my homies' tracks the other day on one of his live streams, and like that just to find that song is like he's digging.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like people who care, and all of those people that I mentioned, I think they care a lot.
Yeah. I think you have to, like, if you're just so blasé about like what you're doing, it's like, dude, why are you fucking doing it, bro? Like, just do something else.
Yeah, totally.
Agreed. I feel like people think it's like, oh, I'm just cheesing, or like it's cool to be excited about something.
Yeah, it's cool to care.
I think that's happening more and more for at least the people that they're letting into like certain circles. Like they have to care. Like there's this guy who does these movie, like he like interviews actors, and he's such a huge fan of movies and journals, and talks about like specific things, like he knows his shit, and all of the actors are like, we love you because you fucking care. And he might not be like the best interviewer ever, but he's let into their circle because he genuinely cares.
Totally.
I don't know what the point is there, but I think that is a good trend, and I want that to be more. Like I
remember I was living in LA for a little while, and like there was this like house that Virtual Riot was either living in or was friends with a bunch of people that were there. And I remember someone literally gave me advice, was like, don't be too nerdy. Don't be too like excited. And I was like, this is odd, because like this person changed my life from a musical perspective. Like I went from not caring about electronic music to, between Glitch Mob, Skrillex, Virtual Riot, Cohen Sound, it's probably the short list. Like they obliterated my idea of what music could be. And you're telling me that I'm supposed to just like be around that person and be like chill? And I had a horrible time. I left that party having basically not talking to anyone because I was just like, I was being so inauthentic. And I think that if I could go back in time, and I actually, when I did meet him ultimately later, I was like, yo, like, your shit was really important to me. I fuck with it extremely heavily. And like the interaction was like, I don't think he would remember me, or maybe he would, but it wouldn't be like a big deal for him or for me even really. It wasn't even like this crazy impactful moment, but it was just like, I felt so much more calm being authentic and being like, I do care. Like your music is really important to me. Specifically, what's that song, that Dream something?
I feel like it's different coming from another producer or someone who like makes music. If you're a fan and you're like, I love your music so much, oh my god, fuck, like, you know, it's like like there's only so many people you can interact with like that. But I mean, or maybe sometimes like if you're a big artist, you're sensing that this person's kind of like sucking up to you to like get closer or blah blah blah. But like, I don't know. I think it's Dream Logic is the name of the track I was thinking of. But yes, I agree. The sucking up thing is especially like, it's a fine line to walk. I don't think it's terrible advice. Like, I feel like you should, you know, try to be like, you know, focus that energy and not just like, just totally act like a simp for them or something.
Yeah, I would say like treat them like a normal person.
Yeah.
Like if your friend did something that meant a lot to you, how would you say that to them? Right? Yeah. And that's like, I had like 5 years earlier, I had met Fitch. Shout out Fitch. And at the time, like I had never been given that advice. So I just like, I met this person. I had never heard their music before. I listened to it a couple of nights earlier because my friend had suggested it to me. And then they just happened to be in Boston where they were at, I think, Berkeley at the time. And I was just visiting Berkeley, visiting a friend. And I was like completely goo-goo-eyed, like, you're insane, you're so good, whatever. And we became homies. Like, we just became friends because, like, I think to a certain extent, like, I don't want to give the advice, like, just be super goo-goo-eyed and treat them like, you know, like, not like people, because that's not kind or accurate either. But it's like, I think authenticity matters most. And, like, I was just authentic. And so after I got all my like, holy shit, you're so amazing's out, like we had got to talking and had like actual good conversations. And
yeah, I feel like you don't want to be the guy also that's pulling out his phone and showing people music.
Yeah.
Unless maybe they ask.
No.
You're like, dude, this one, wait, listen. And they're just like, what? Fuck. Yeah. Why do I have to do this?
Totally.
If they ask like, oh, what kind of music? It's like, I always downplay shit. If anything.
I'm trying not to do that so much because I know that that's like a defense mechanism for like not wanting, like I don't want to be told that my shit's bad, or like I don't want to be considered like overly braggadocious or some shit. But I think like, yeah, I've really gotten over that. Like if someone asked me what I play, I would say like what I think it is, and if I'm not doing a great job of explaining it, I'll be like, do you want to listen to it? I know we only have phone speakers right now, but yeah, I don't want to downplay my shit because I love my shit. I think my shit's really good. I think that it has a lot to be improved at, but yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I think that's the balance you have to play every day of your life when you talk to people. Like you have to like be thoughtful with your words.
Yeah. Confident, but not a dick.
Yeah. I think also age helps.
Yeah, it's so much easier to be confident and not a dick at the same time as a near 30-year-old than it was as a baby 20-year-old.
Yeah. I think you just get bored. You're just like, I'm just gonna say it how it is and not be a dick about it. Okay, word. Let's we've been going for a while.
Yeah, totally.
And I think we can kind of start wrapping up.
Agreed.
I have a question book that we could just do one question out of this just for funsies. This is a book, 3,000 questions. So pick a number between 1 and 3,000.
Yeah, I think 2007 is sticking out right now.
2007.
Any cool notable things happen in 2007?
That's such a weird question.
Yeah.
Because how would you even know? It says, what lesson to this day have you still not learned? feel like, how would you know? And maybe I can spin this into another question I've been asking too, if you like can't think of anything.
Yeah. I guess I'm a little bit drawing a blank. So what's your spin?
I've been asking people, I guess I should explain why I've been asking people this. Like, I've always been really into like philosophy, like what kind of operating system, what phrases and mentalities do you think about that kind of like allow you to, I don't know, just like know that that's like a truth, basically. I'm very philosophical, and when I went to college, I wanted to study philosophy, but my brother told me, he's like, dude, you don't have to study philosophy. Like, especially if you're getting a degree, you should just be philosophical. I was like, cool. So that's the explanation for this question, which is, do you have any philosophies that you've been living by that have been helping you maybe just in your life, or just something you've been thinking about lately that keeps coming up that is, I don't know, very pertinent to you right now?
Sure. Well, I mean, I don't know if this is like a like highly important one, but I just had a friend reach out in a group chat and was basically like, I'm feeling a lot of imposter syndrome. And it reminded me of something that well, for starters, I experienced that a lot in my life, where I'll meet new people, particularly people who are way younger than me, who I think are doing stuff at a level way higher than me. And I'll just go like, fuck, like I'm boring and bad. And I try to remind myself that you're an average of your community. And so if you are inspired and excited by your community, then you're probably inspiring and exciting to some degree. And if you're not, well, maybe you should take a look at your community. Take a look at the people that you're sitting around. Like, why are they, what sorts of behaviors are you tolerating that you don't want to do that anymore? You don't want to tolerate. And I feel really lucky because I think it's a two-way thing. I think both I started being a lot more clear with how I want to live and living that way, but then I also, and it attracted people that are also feeling that way. And so I think my life just gets better and better as I live, even though my material resources are in one of the most, insane positions they've ever been in, because I'm living the truest version of myself that I can live. And so it's like, do that and live the most true version of yourself. Find people who reflect that. And if you're not liking the people that you're around, then it's honestly probably a good way to look inside and be like, am I living in a way that I don't want to be living in? Yeah.
Yeah, that's real. That other people are a reflection of yourself, and they basically like either pollute or clean the kind of like space that you live in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about when you were saying that, and I totally agree with that the people you surround yourself with, it's the same thing even with like your mind, like the thoughts that you have in your mind.
Yeah.
And some of that can come from your friends too. Like someone can say something to you and they don't even think that it's gonna like affect you, and then you think about it a billion times and you're like, fuck, like that one guy who told you
that I didn't have enough bass.
And you're like, fuck my life.
I might suck at mixing.
But like, also I was kind of just thinking about people who are at the tip of that spear. Like if you're the leader of that group, whether or not anyone else, I guess, yeah, like if you actually were elected to that position, so to speak, or whatever, do you feel like there's some people that don't necessarily get as affected by their friends too? Like that they're just like, nah, I'm going this way. Because I wish I was more like that. Like in my life, in general, just that I was more able to create a space within myself that just said, I don't give a fuck about all these things, and that I can just operate from a place of peace and just knowing that I don't care about these things. I wish that was just easier all the time.
Yeah.
But a lot of days I'm anxious, I'm whatever, just not able to get to that equanimity where I can just, I don't care. I'm going my own way.
Yeah. I think that it's all about balance. Like, if you are really good at self-direction, that's obviously a gift. But if you are not taking in input, like, how do you know you're going in the right direction? You might be really pushing towards something and you might get there faster than other people. But it's like, I don't know, like, I think that is really common in DJ world. I think people are like, I'm going to be a famous DJ. And then they don't think about the politics of Ticketmaster and AXS and all of these things. They don't think about any of that because, like, they only have one mission, which is just succeed by any means necessary. And it's like, that doesn't work for me.
It
like,
doesn't work for most because it's about the people that you know.
How do you mean?
A lot of times, like, if you want to be that successful DJ, it's about playing nice with promoters.
Sure.
All that stuff.
Well, and I guess I would just say, even, like, it doesn't work for me. Sure, I mean, like, I think it could work for me if I wanted to do that, schmoozing, but, like, I don't want that. I want to build a career that is, like, authentic and beautiful and, like, connected and, like, is non-exploitative. And so, I think whatever you set your mind to, you can make it, but I think it's actually kind of a blessing to be tuned in to, like, what's going on around you, because then you can think about it, like, and truly know, you know, you can have that, you can have that moment of reflection to know if you're actually going the right direction. Like
you can live in reality.
Yeah. Like, when I was working for, you know, a more corporate sort of situation, and, like, there was this we decided to unionize, and, like, before that unionization, it was a lot easier for me to just be like, oh, I'm doing pretty well right now, like, I don't want to fuck this up. But, like, having that moment to, like, those peers around me who were saying, like, shit's pretty fucked up for me, like, I was making double some of what my peers were making, and, like, being open to that, being able to, like, listen to what they were saying and be like, yo, shit, this might actually be kind of fucked up, like, I'm benefiting from it being fucked up, but it's, like, it's pretty fucked up and I want to make it not that way. Being open, being receptive to that allowed me to, like, participate in something that I actually cared about, direct my energy towards something that actually mattered. And I think that yeah, people should be doing that as much as they can. So
yeah, that makes sense. I think what you're saying too is, like, just don't, like, if you're trying to go somewhere, don't bulldoze and like fuck people over on the way there.
Yeah, but as that relates to your question about, like, a person who's, like, elected, or, like, you know, a person who's really good at, like, tuning those out, I'm like, I feel sorry for those people. Like, I don't want to tune people out. I want to rising tides all raise all ships. I don't want to,
always
like,
say that. Yeah, I think Chicago is very competitive. But I do, at least in the, like, commercial DJ,
sure,
electronic music world. But I literally always say that because I'm always trying to tell people around me, like, dude, we could do this together.
Yeah,
like, it'd be better. It'd be more, like, fulfilling. We could become friends over doing it, and I don't have any bad intentions, but there's just a lot of people that are operating maybe like this is what I think about too. People that are just, like, hustlers, I don't trust them.
Yeah.
Not because, okay, like, hustlers in the sense that, like, they just want to get that bag. And people are like, I'm not going to, if they want to get that bag, like, nothing wrong with that. But that, like, who's to say you're not going to just turn around on me and be like, well, it's about business and it's about, you know, like, oh, we're gonna copy this person because that's gonna be, like, successful or something. Like,
I think there is something kind of bad about just focusing only on the bag. That is an individualist mindset, and it's gotten us where we're at right now, which is pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
If we all cared about each other and we, like, community, what's that I said? Oh, you asked about, like, a value or something that I, like, live by. One of them is, oh, it just slipped my mind. That's so tragic. I guess it's just, yeah, like, I mean, the gist of it is just like taking care of the people that are around you, the community. Like, that's what it was. Was like, there's this like zero sum mindset where it's like you have to, save some for yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup or whatever, all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, do you know what fills my cup? Like supporting other people. Like, if I'm pouring from a near empty cup, the likelihood is that I'm gonna feel more full after that. And like, this isn't to say, you should go out and deplete yourself. Like, this brings us back to the very beginning of this conversation. It's a nice bookend of like, sometimes you got to be on that 40%. Like, what is it that you can do at like a sustainable level right now? But I do fully think that if you're feeling really depleted, like the solution is not me, selfish, go get the bag at any cost. It's, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm whatever. Let's make a beat showcase for all these producers. Shout out Epiphany Arts Center. Shout out, what's it called? House of Beats. Like, I'm sure that the feeling of putting that on at that event just leaves you, even though it's a lot of work, I'm sure, and it feels probably like kind of draining at times. At the end of that event, you probably feel more fulfilled and more excited to do more of that kind of stuff than you do feel drained from the work. Am I right?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's for me. It's like, I do think it is a little bit like, 50 minus 60 equals 55. Which is really weird.
That's some weird math, but I get what you're saying. I think also something I was thinking about when you were saying that is that it doesn't have to be me. It can, you can focus on yourself, but in a loving way.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like, well, I'm going to do whatever is necessary to get what I want.
Yeah.
It can be like, I'm going to just maybe slow down, do the self-care that I need, and as long as I'm not like hurting anyone else or whatever, exploiting someone or something like that, then no one's gonna fault you for that. When you fall back and you need to do a little self-care, like totally, no one is gonna fault you for that. But yeah, I do think you could get into this vindictive mindset where it's like, well, I got slighted, so I'm gonna do what I fucking want and blah blah blah.
No. Yeah, that's the whole like victim becomes the
perpetrator.
Whatever.
Or that might not be the right word, but yeah. All right, thanks. You answered that question nicely. I feel like it's been kind of a dud lately, but I want to know more about, like, this whole podcast is about, like the artist behind the music, or behind the art in general, and kind of what makes them tick. And I think I want to kind of develop a better question that is like, what are some codes that you live by?
I love that. I think it's a great question. I think it's actually really cool that we didn't talk about the album that I'm working on at all. Like,
there's music coming out eventually.
Yeah. But it's like that. Like, I don't make stuff in a vacuum. It's like, well, again, tie back. Love this. Like, everything you do is political. I believe that everything you do is political. Living is political. And it's like, the music that I make, which is fun and like carefree or whatever, it's coming from my experiences trying to live in this system and trying to be just and care, or just and caring and uplifting and all of those things in this system. And it's like, if you are just laser focused, if you are bulldozing at whatever cost to just copy me without understanding why I made this stuff, like, you will fail. You will not create something that sounds like me if that was your goal, because you won't know how to actually make it. You won't know how to care. You won't know how to imbue it with what it needs to be imbued with. And this also kind of ties back to the clothes thing and like why I love buying. Intangible, that magic that I literally,
enchanted aspect.
I call it mana. I say like I put mana into things. I say that actually a lot. I say words are spells, and I talk about building mana. So like if I'm like cleaning my room, I'm building mana for like producing later that day.
Words are spells. That's like the 4 Agreements type of deal. Have you read that book?
No.
It's a great book. It's one of my favorite like self-development books.
Yeah.
But it's just, the first agreement is to be impeccable with your word. And he basically goes in to say how, like, words are like spells, and it's like casting magic over someone. Like if I say I hate your jeans, or whatever, you're not even wearing jeans,
Yeah.
your pants.
Yeah.
It's like, that's like black magic.
Yeah.
That's like that's like a spell.
Sure.
Like now you got to think about that, or you got to decide if you're going to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's energy that's going your way, or
Agreed.
you can use your words to uplift people, and like a compliment is free,
Totally.
not to be ingenuine, but like, yeah. That's like being impeccable with your word is, I feel like you'd like this book. It's one of my faves.
I should check it out. Well, I mean, I just even think about that. It's like, there's been a couple of times in this podcast where I've stopped myself or reworded something that I said. Like I said earlier, I was like, oh, when I was trying to do pop music, it's like, I wasn't trying to do pop music. I was doing pop music. Why am I like being diminutive to myself in this way? That's not true. It's not true. I was making pop music in my pop era, which is not currently happening. I can't remember the rest of that statement, but
I guess that kind of like has you're, by saying that, insinuating like, I tried and maybe like, did I fail? Did I succeed? What happened? Or it's just like you were just doing it.
I mean, if you want to go by streaming numbers, that was like far more successful than what my what my current EDM phase has been. Like I had a former EDM phase that was like way more successful than my pop phase, and then my pop phase was way more successful than like this like current iteration of EDM. But it's like, by what metric? Yeah, by streams, by like the fact that I would like happen to catch like a YouTube blog wave in like the late 2015, 2019 or whatever. Like it's the metrics are all wonky, and it's like, but the energy that was put into those things is the ultimately thing that matters, which is like, I think that's like how we should really wrap this up. And like, that's the truth. And maybe the code that I live by the most, which is just like, put care, put mana, put energy into things that are beautiful and help beautiful things grow. People, community, art, do that work, put that work into there. And then when there are things that harm your community, put in the work, the body time, the being in the action towards like resisting those things and like making change towards a better future. And like, if you do that, you will make beautiful things. And maybe it's not art in the traditional sense of like painting or drawing or whatever, but your life will be art.
Yeah, and trust your gut with that, like, as in that's the barometer for like if it's the right thing to do. I always think about music if I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
I don't really I care what other people think. But if I listen to it, I'm like, yeah. That's much. Yeah.
Make music for the version of yourself that's like on a bus like 6 years ago, jamming out to something and being like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Well, we always do shout outs then. Is there anyone that's been pivotal in your career path? Anyone you want to give some love to?
Yeah, I'm going to try and do a bunch. I'll try to go in reverse chronological order. So the people who are currently helping me out and then all the way back. So love Jason from Unison Studios has been really providing me an excellent space to be myself and grow right now as an artist. Bodhi, who I talked about earlier, incredible artist who's been like really developing me. Or been working with me and doing a lot of development. Aubrey Black, incredible pop artist, and just too many artistic endeavors to list here. Incredible person who's been really helping me just kind of view my art in a more, as a world as opposed to like these individual pieces. My partner Nico, for just being so supportive and just like honestly doing a lot of the art making with me and just like workshopping and getting their hands dirty. DJ Recode keeps popping into my head. Really brought me out of my house and into the real world with music production and pop and hyper pop. She's incredible. My siblings are being really supportive. My parents.
Shout out your dad.
Shout out my dad. Yeah. Shout out my dad for just so much of the material support and energetic support in the early times, and then shout out my mom for being weird and spiritual and like guiding me towards the beliefs that I have. And let's see, is there anyone else I can think of off the top? I don't want to miss anyone. Shout out King Youngblood for teaching me how to be a rock star one last time before I kind of went full EDM warlock. that feels complete right now.
That feels good.
Yeah.
And then where can people find you?
Shout out Care for connecting me
shout
with
out,
you.
Shout out Care for sure.
Yeah.
Always shout out Care.
Right now, the place where you will always find me is guesst.net, guesst.net, because whatever platforms I decide to be on at whatever time, like, you will always be able to find a link to them there. Right now, I support and I'm on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, and YouTube, and I chose those platforms because SoundCloud and YouTube have always been user-generated content or art form platforms that have championed users for a long time despite their problems. So for access and out of respect for their original methodologies, got SoundCloud and YouTube. And then Bandcamp for purchase and download. All of my music is available for free or pay what you want. As soon as I can mess around and find a SoulSeek situation, I'll get it up on SoulSeek as well. And then Subvert. I'm really looking at you, Subvert. As soon as I can put my music on Subvert.
We're trusting that you're going to make this work.
Yeah, I'm really excited because Subvert feels like as authentic as Bandcamp and the types of interactions that can be created on Bandcamp, but with a cooperative ownership structure that is just prone to far, far less exploitation, particularly of the employees, which unfortunately happened when Bandcamp busted their workers' union. So.
Yeah. Nothing's guaranteed. No, I mean, that's not right. Anyway, that's where you can find the music and anything else. Just want to say thank you for coming through.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Jerry.
that. Yeah,
this is really fun.
This has been good. This has been a good one. This is a long one too, so
yeah, I hope you don't have to do too much editing.
We'll see. But yeah, also thank you guys for listening, and if you made it this far, we appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time. Yo, what's up, guys? This is your host, Jerry. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to like and subscribe. If there's someone you'd like to see on the show, leave a comment below. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, we'd appreciate it if you leave a review and hit that 5-star rating. Thank you for your support, and we'll catch you on the next one.